Vince, can you get your picture you need?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. At this time, we would like to induct the 3 new council members to the city of Cochran here. The first organizational meeting, according to our charter, is the time at which we do the induction. So, if you would please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member
that I will faithfully perform the duties of the council member
of this city,
and
and that I will support
I will support
and defend
and defend
the charter thereof,
the charter thereof,
as well as the Constitution
as well as the Constitution
and laws of the state of Georgia
and laws of the state of Georgia
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America.
I'd like to say amen, but congratulations.
You can say amen.
Congratulations. We now have a quorum, and we can now conduct the meeting. Ready, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Call the first meeting of the year to order. Let's see. At this time, I'm going to call, have an invocation. Gary, would you do the invocation for us? We're kind of on new ground here. John, would you please bring?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Here we go.
Father, as we sit by ourselves together, we give you praise. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day, Father. We pray that we conduct ourselves in a manner, Father, that is pleasing unto you. Father, let us the best points in the front of you for the city. Your precious Son, in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Lisa, please let the record show that we have all council members in attendance. And I'd like to welcome formally all the new council members to their post and hope this is a productive term for you. We've had a modification to the agenda, which is an addition of item number 5, which would be the seizure accounts. Richard, is there anything else that we need to carry over that you saw? I think we're okay, aren't we? You comfortable? Okay. Take a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, with item number 5 added to our items for review.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
So, the first and second. Any other comments? Oh, just, okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Approval of the minutes, we have the minutes from December 8th, the work session, as well as the regular meeting minutes. I'll take a motion and just bundle that together into one.
I make a motion that we bundle the two together, the work session and the regular council.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any discussion, changes, or anything anybody spotted? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the minutes are adopted. Agenda item number 1 here. Richard?
Mayor and council, this has to do with the garbage and the yard trash and the bulk waste service in the city of Cochran. It was in the fall, the city voted to extend the contract with Advanced Disposal for another 5 years. That would be through from 2016 to 2021. And we were able, for 3 of those years, to get advanced disposal to commit to no cost increase to the city. The way the contract is structured, the 2,200 yard or garbage customers in the city, about 100 of which live outside of the city, would incur a cost to the city of $15.50 by advanced disposal. We're going to be charged $15.50 a month by advanced disposal for each customer. In turn, the city will continue to charge $20 a month to city customers. That's for the garbage service. The garbage service will change, as we discussed, from rear loader garbage can to automatic side loader, or ASL as it's called. And there's a film on the website that shows automatic side loader. In case you haven't seen it, it is offered also in Perry and Warner Robins and Bibb County, Macon. There's actually going to be an ASL truck coming into the city very soon. This service will start Monday, January 25th. We've been talking about it really every meeting for at least the last 4 meetings. So it's going to get real. We're going to have 2,200 cans delivered to the Chamber of Commerce Police Department parking lot the weekend of the 23rd. And they'll be distributed on Monday the 25th, Tuesday the 26th, and Wednesday the 27th. At the same time somebody gets an addition, their new can, the advanced disposal will pick up the old can and tote it off back to Houston County. So everybody will get a new ASL can. There's going to be some guidance or instructions on which way to put the can so that the automatic side loader can grab it and pick it up. There can't be any bags, no longer any bags that are gathered on the side of the can. If somebody consistently has bags around the can, they're going to have to get another can for $5. So that's a summary of the yard trash service, or the garbage service, excuse me. Now the yard trash service is now provided by the city, the knuckle boom loader. And that's all part of the $20 a month that citizens, the ratepayers, charge. That's going to change. Advanced disposal is going to be bringing a grapple truck here to Cochran, and it's going to follow the same route as the garbage, or the automatic side loader, the garbage truck. The grapple truck will pick up yard trash, limbs, as our city crew does now. It'll be the same level of service. The ordinance says 5 by 5 by 5 pile that's allowed. We go a little beyond that. We try to pick up as much as we can. But if somebody has a large amount of yard waste or limbs out front, the grapple truck will get some of it or half of it and pick up the rest the next week. If it's a tremendously large pile of limbs, it may take 2 or 3 pickups. But most piles are manageable and can be picked up by the grapple truck. That'll be provided again by advanced disposal. And then the third leg of this 3-legged stool is the bulk waste pickup. The second Saturday of every month, beginning in February, advanced disposal will send a yard or a bulk waste truck around town and pick up as many as 3 items in front of each residence. It says 75 pounds limit. They're not going to weigh everything, but if you have a chair or a discarded piece of furniture, you can have up to 3 within reason that'll be picked up the second Saturday of each month. Again, that's part of the same $20 charge. So our service is changing. As I said in the work session, we have about 100 customers, 110 customers of our 2,200 customer base that are county residents, not city residents. We have charged county residents the same $20 a month charge as city residents, and we have absorbed the administrative cost of that. That is the front office services, the billing services, and that's why I'd like to look at adjusting the fee for out-of-city garbage users to $25 a month, as opposed to the $20 that the city residents enjoy. Also, every ASL can costs the city $60. And so we're going to be looking at if somebody has a can that goes missing, unless they can produce a police report, we're going to be looking at, they call in for another can, so their can is gone, they can't produce a police report, then that charge would be put on their water bill. That's what we're going to be looking at, and I'll bring that proposal back to the mayor and council at the next meeting. So there's a change in garbage, yard trash, and bulk waste. I don't think it's a radical change. I think back in the 90s, mayor and council, we did have automatic side loader. We're going to go back to that. And so I've spent the last 6 or 7 minutes explaining it, Mr. Mayor. We do have Adam Cochran from Advanced Disposal here, and he can answer questions about garbage pickup, yard trash, or bulk waste pickup, whatever you may have.
Well, thank you all for having me. Richard said, no further comment. He kind of did all the explaining, but ultimately, yes. One thing, we will not have the side loader here until February 1st. We said, I think we said we started it on the 25th. We're actually going to deliver cans on the 25th, and we'll start collecting on the 1st with the truck.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start delivering cans on the 25th. And picking up the garbage, we'll be delivering the cans, and then that following Monday, the February 1st, we'll start the truck running in town.
Question for
Yes,
you
sir.
here. We talked about a discussion earlier, and you may have heard part of it here. At your last presentation, we kind of got into a discussion on can identification.
Mm-hmm.
And now being told there is no can identification. Is there, isn't there? And if not, how are you going to resolve that issue? Because that seems to be a sticking point.
Ultimately, every can, we talked about that last time, and I remember we talked about that earlier. I mean, ultimately, there's identifications on every can. I mean, the truck that we're bringing here is a $325,000 truck, and we did not put RFID reader on this vehicle, which is another $20,000. That's not on there, but now every can has a serial number, and every serial number can be at a house. Tracking that is going to be another issue. I mean, you're talking 2,000 of them out there, and tracking that may be a little difficult. I mean, yeah.
Can you provide us the serial numbers?
The serial numbers, oh, absolutely. I'll have the serial numbers, and serial numbers are given to me as I'm getting the list of the 2,000 cans. So I'll have a serial number for everything we put out.
So you have a serial number by residence?
We can do it by resident. Now, who wants to track it down is a whole nother story.
I'm just thinking in terms of the stolen recovery.
I can absolutely give you an Excel spreadsheet that tells you every house and every serial number. That's not the problem. The problem is trying to catch that person. That will be the issue.
We got a good chief of police.
I understand. But what happens if that person takes it and goes outside the city, lives out in the county?
We got a good sheriff.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, that's going to
If
be.
we don't keep up with them, we'll never find them.
No,
And you said that.
absolutely, I don't
Maybe you
disagree.
said that at last meeting we had.
I don't disagree with you. No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, there's a cost there. You know, we're spending in excess of $100,000 on these cans, just to bring them in here. I mean, you're talking $50 a piece at $2,000, that's $100,000 just to get them in here.
110 if you bring 2,200.
Well, and you only have 1,800 homes in the city. Richard was telling us 2,200, there's only 1,840 houses in the city limits. That we don't have, we're only building off for roughly 1,800 some change, Lisa, it's not 2,200.
We don't want to tell you about the other houses, I mean, if that's all you're building.
Yeah, exactly. Or all the ones with multiple, or all the ones with multiple cans.
We talking about the identification, we talking about.
Absolutely. But no, I think right now, and I can double check this, but you're only in the 1,840, 1,850, I think, 1,840, 1,850 per month of house count.
How many do you think are outside the city?
Maybe, I know it's not nowhere to where 2,200 is a little, it's probably 300, 350 high. I don't think it's near close to that, of house counts in the city.
How many do you think are outside the city limits? Adam, do you know that?
There's 100, 140 in the county, absolutely. We've probably got 100, 125, but there's not 22 in the city.
How many?
Are you saying it costs $5 a month more every month if you need an extra can?
That's what we're gonna charge, that's what we charge the city. I mean, if someone needs 3 cans or 4 cans, we only charge, we charge you $15.50 per can, or $15.50 for all the services. If you need an extra can, it's only $5, because we're already there. We're not spending any extra labor or time, we're already there. It's just the cost of the can and what the garbage is in. There's no real big extra cost there.
That's $5 a month more.
Yes, sir.
That's what you,
That's for each additional can. If you got 10 cans, it'd be $50. It's just 5 for how many you need.
Any further questions?
Have you done it in other, obviously you've done it in other cities, yeah. How do the citizens react during the change? Do you have problems during them? Because you had talked about during your last presentation
Sure.
about how they turn them, they don't have to turn them the right way.
Absolutely.
How much trouble do you usually have
I
initially?
mean, we're gonna leave that person on the truck, as I think I told before, we're gonna leave that person on the truck to move the cans for the first couple of weeks. On top of it, we have, asked that all these cans, we're not asked, we have ordered them that way. Every can's gonna be stamped on the top, molded with the arrows how to face the can. So when somebody pushes it out there, they're gonna see a can towards the road, their arrows are stamped right on the top. So it's there's not gonna be stickers or anything, it's gonna be already stamped in there white where it's going towards the road to show you how to do it. And that's one of the things is just getting it out there to the residents. I mean, we're doing that right now in the county. I mean, the good thing is no service days are changing. The only is changing is the cart placement. I mean, you just gotta have 3 feet. I mean, that's really the only thing changing, because we're gonna get the yard waste just as you all do. We're gonna get the bulk waste once a month, so as long as that can is 3 feet from a mailbox or a car or any other object, there's really no change in how we do it now.
So how did they identify their cans in the other cities?
How they did it for other cans? I mean, they're all, even the cans I showed Richard out here earlier, even the cans at City Hall now have labels and imprints on them. I mean, they're there now. The problem we have originally is we've got some of your old carts, some of other people's old carts, some of our carts. I mean, there's a hodgepodge of carts out there. And so I don't see many people stealing cans. I mean, that's not a prevalent. Breaking cans, the good thing I told Richard earlier is if some can gets broken, all you do is give it back to us, we give you a new one, and I send that in for warranty. I mean, the only thing you have to worry about is theft. I mean, we don't get that many calls for theft. I mean, there are some, by all means, somebody sees one on the biggest issues you'll get for theft is the people that leave it out to the road and don't pull it back to their house. Most people are not going to go up to someone's house and steal it, but if it sits out by the road for weeks, somebody will end up taking it. And that's where your biggest issue is. It's not going up by somebody's house and taking it. As long as people pull them back after their service day and not sit them out there for a week or two at a time, they're not going to steal them. And that's your only thing. That's the only issue you're talking about is the cans and identification is people steal them. And as long as they pull them back, I really don't see that big of an issue.
How effective I think you call it an RFI reader.
RFID?
RFID, do other counties use that?
Absolutely. it's not real prevalent, but if somebody wants to spend the extra money, absolutely. I don't even do it in Beverly Houston County with 20 and 50,000 homes. I mean, it's just, stealing cans are not that prevalent. I mean, larger cities, Gwinnett County, we have them in. Absolutely, we have them in, but you're talking a couple 100,000 homes versus 2. I mean, I bet of the 80,000 homes we service in Middle Georgia, we don't get 2 calls a week for 80,000 homes. So I don't think people are just out stealing cans. Oh, they may. It's just not that prevalent.
Adam, I'm gonna have some questions from the audience in a second, but I'll wait till after the council finishes their questions.
Sure, absolutely. I just don't think you're gonna see that much theft of a can, as long as they bring them in. Now, you have that occasional one that somebody's got a place out in the county or hunting prairie, and they need a can out there, and somebody leaves it by the side of the road a couple of weeks, and they think it's abandoned, they're gonna snap it. I just don't see people going beside people's houses and do that.
Do we have other?
When you do, Bill County,
Absolutely.
y'all did have some problems up there.
We did. We're having some problems right now. Now, we didn't have any problems when we were Bibb County. We did 20,000 homes. And, I mean, I'm dealing with it right now. But we understand there's a little difference. Not only did we change the day for 25,000 customers, we changed their actual service day. So we're worrying about routing 25,000 homes and getting 12 employees on new routes. So you have a double fold there. We're not changing any route days here. We were running ASLs. We're still running ASLs. The biggest thing up there right now is we've had 25,000 homes change their routes and route days, and we got new employees learning the route for the first 2 or 3 weeks at a time that have never seen it before. The same driver is going to be down here every day. It's already been down here for the same 2 or 3 years. He's not changing anything. That's what I want to state in first, is there's no change to your service, the driver, or anything. It's just where you're placing your can. We're still going to run the same 3 sections, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Delivery of the can, we're going to put the cans out on the same day of your service day. We're going to swap them on the same day. So we're going to make every effort to be as little effect. I think we're comparing apples to oranges because of the routing and the new drivers versus this. It's the same here.
Mr. Mayor, one question, Adam, is, well, what if there's a resident who, happens to have a couple of bags next to their garbage can? Not every week, but on occasion they'll have maybe a bag on top and one on either side. What do you do there?
If there's a bag on top, a lot of times these guys are good enough that they can dump it without any garbage coming out with a bag on top. I don't tell them to do that, but they can. The good thing is this truck is a right-hand drive truck. So he's actually going to be driving it from the right-hand side of the road. He's not going to be driving from the left. Now, it has a left-hand drive when he's out going to and from. But while he's operating, he's right-hand drive. So ultimately, he can jump right out without crossing traffic. He doesn't have to go around the truck. He can jump right out there and grab that bag, sit on the ground, dump the can, put it back in there. Now, ultimately, if we identify the same household week after week after week with multiple bags, then we'll notify the county or the city if they need any additional, the additional can. But ultimately, that's why we have a right-hand drive truck for these, because it's one person, he can jump right out, he's 2 feet from the can, take care of any issues. If any garbage comes on the ground, the trucks are fully equipped with brooms and shovels. So ultimately, he can move the truck, sweep it up, load it in the can, and keep going around with business.
And for about the first 4 weeks, you're going to keep 2 people.
Absolutely.
So they can help with that and educate.
The first 3 weeks to a month, the same helper is going to come down here that's always come down here riding. A lot of times what we do is we actually walk. What we're doing right now in Bibb County is we're walking in front of the truck 25 feet, turning the cans, so when the driver gets there, he's dumping and he's not stopping, and he's in front of the cans, turning them and moving the way he needs to move them, so we can continue to dump without any issues. And that's been very successful for us there.
What about leaves?
Well,
At one time, they had to, up to a certain age, you had to bag your leaves and put them out there by the thing. Occasionally though, we got back, I think, to piling the leaves out there, and the city picked up the leaves.
Our grapple truck, or knuckle boom, whatever you call it, it's the same vehicle, will do the same thing that the city's been doing now. We're gonna, some people call it grapple, some people call it knuckle boom, it's the same vehicle. We're gonna provide the same service, it's gonna be the same style truck that's gonna come and operate it, and we're gonna have a guy on that truck who has a rake, has a shovel, whatever, where he can, gather loose. Now, is he gonna pick up every little twig on the ground? No, but he's gonna clean the mess up, get it off the ground and go. And that's bagged or unbagged.
Anything else from council? Kevin?
I would like to know all the cans on one side.
One side of the road? No, but if you're on one side of the road, we will work one side, flip the truck around and come back.
Okay.
One thing I can only ask is, for the residents, and ultimately, this is one thing we see is, well, they went down the road, they didn't pick my side up. This truck is made to run what's called right-hand routing. So we try to make as many right-hand turns as possible. We flip the truck around, and we come back making right-hand turns. Because a driver can't make a left-hand turn in these trucks from the right-hand side. We have to actually get over to the left-hand side truck to make a left-hand turn. So we try to make as many right-hand turns. So what the question we get is, well, they passed me 30 minutes ago and they're not back. We'll be back, just maybe a little while, and there will be some time changes. I mean, we're gonna run at the same time, but instead of before we go down in the street and flip the truck around and come back, he may run 6 or 8 streets, flip the truck around and run the 6 or 8 streets back from the opposite side of the road. So there will be a little bit of, just because he left one side doesn't mean we're not gonna be back. It just may be a few more minutes.
I've seen friends who set up a service where they cannot physically roll their cans out there. We all still know
The backdoor
that.
services? Yeah, we have the list of all the backdoor customers, and we will still, that's why we have the right-hand drive truck. He can jump out, run to someone's house, come right back, and he don't have to cross the road or have to run around the front of the truck, and he's already right there on that side of the road, which is most safe. Yes, ma'am?
Any other questions?
We were working with Richard on a place for the cans, so I think we're not gonna stack them about 12 high, I promise. But what I'm trying to work out is ultimately we can deliver the 600 cans a day for that route day. So Monday, what we're gonna do is have a forklift down here. We'll bring one down here to lift them off the trucks. We'll stack them over behind the police station. And then our guys will be doing nothing but all day but deliver these cans to the residents after we pick up the garbage of the cans. We will then bring those back. We'll take as many back that we can in a day after we get them all delivered. Once we get them all delivered, they let us use the city landfill, the inert landfill, to put the empty containers. We'll do that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then on that Thursday, Friday, if we have any extra cans that we need to get out of here, we'll already have them there and out of the way, so we can then get them on out and take them back to Macon. But we fully expect, everything is we'll deliver the cans on the service day is what we're trying to do, and we're gonna have extra crews in here to make sure. We'll probably have 3 trucks in here delivering cans that day. One truck, there's no way to do one truck, but 3 probably should be able to.
Your charge us is 1550 of residents.
That's correct.
Is that an increase over what your contract was previously?
It's an increase, but it's a service increase.
Well, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're picking up leaves down.
Picking up, absolutely. So it is, and we're doing the bulk waste. So it is an increase, but it's a service increase, not just increase to one service level.
It's about time.
We've gotten out of the landfill business with the softwood yard waste.
So now we're responsible, instead of you all picking it up and taking it to your landfill, now we're responsible for picking it up and disposing of it.
Yeah, Adam, it's been suggested that we get the word out, as Councilman Thrower suggested, through, Facebook, through our website, through the news, about when this kicks off. And that'll be Monday the 1st, and you'll be delivering the cans Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd.
No, it depends on the 25th, 26th, and
So
27th.
that's here in Cochran
Uh-huh.
that you'll deliver, but the customer and their residents will see that on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. they'll see their new can delivered?
No, they'll see it on the 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Okay,
They'll see the can the week before, so, and while we pick up, while we
You should
usually.
be picking up with your old garbage can because he's picking up the old garbage can, dumping it, and giving them a new one. So he said the new truck just won't be here till February
Well,
1st.
it won't start till that next week, because ultimately,
The
if I
cans will be out a week.
exactly, and the reason being I have to do that is because a lot of these cans aren't here, and ASL won't pick them up. We tried it before, we tried this about a year ago, and half the cans we were picking up, we were crushing. They're old, they're a different style, they're not for this type of service, so ultimately, that's why we said we just need to bring all new cans in here, pick up all the old ones, and be done with it. So, that's the real reason, is there'll be that, we could bring an ASL in here to run that 25th, because I'm picking up cans that I can't actually pick up. I got issues, they fall in the hopper, we crush them. So we just gonna use the old style to pick them up. We'll have a truck behind it to pick them up and deliver them new.
Okay, we'll get the word out on that.
Also, we have, you can go to the advanced disposal page and you can click on Middle Georgia and you can click on City of Cochran. It shows all our service levels. We, as of February 1, we will switch that as well. So they'll know the service levels and they'll know exactly what they have. And we can put some information in there about what they need to do with their date change and where they need to put the container and all that. So they can go to our website as well.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you all. Anything, please feel free, Richard has my number, let me know, and we'll help any way we can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Richard, you got item number 2?
Mayor and council, well, it's really Councilman Andrew Lemon's item. The council has the authority to change the name of city alleys and roads, and so I'll defer to Councilman Lemon on this.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, I was approached by someone that he was in the district. This name change down off Cherry Street, had John Connor Alley. And, you know, with a name that is more appropriate because this man lost his life in the line of duty. And the name that we came up along with Jacob back there was John Connor Memorial Lane instead of John Connor's Alley.
Do you have copies of that for us?
I asked Sonny, I asked him from the friends of the family, they're not here tonight. I don't see any of them. So I'm just gonna let them know that, you know, we did this, I suppose, just call they asked for a name, and the name is more appropriate. Memorial Lane.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Need a motion for that? Richard?
You need a motion for that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to change the
Lieutenant, you want to
John
go now?
Connor Alley to John Connor Memorial.
I second.
Okay. We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You have your name.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, third item, election of Mayor Pro Tem. According to our charter, we have to elect a new Mayor Pro Tem annually, and it can't be the same person. According to our charter, Mayor Pro Tem shall serve a term of 1 year and shall not succeed himself, which means that we have 5 other people who qualify.
I make a motion to appoint Gary Ayers for the next mayor pro tem.
Okay, I have a motion for Gary. Is there any other nominees? Okay, I got a first. How about a second?
I'll second that motion.
I have a second on that. Okay, how about a motion to close nominations?
I make a motion to close nominations.
Okay, so I have a first and a second. Okay, so we will close. At this point then, all, better yet, Gary, you sir.
Then be fine.
I just want to check before we back into the corner. Okay, all those in favor of appointing Gary as Mayor Pro Tem for next year, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, congratulations, Gary. You're now Mayor Pro Tem. Congratulations, Josh.
Thank you. I'll be doing a good job out there.
Okay. Item number 4 here, Richard, you want me to take that one?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. last year, was part of the Kumho Tire going into Macon, jointly owned, which we are 18% owners in the company. We've got 5 different cities, different owners. By law, we need to each approve the loan. We had to establish a loan in order to build the infrastructure to service Kumho Tire. The loan amount was for a little over $1 million. They actually borrowed about 900 and some odd thousand. According to law, we have to reapprove that loan on an annual basis, all 5 cities. So what we're asking tonight here is that we have to do that before the end of the month. So it's, Lisa, did you get the resolution approved? Okay. We have a resolution approved that basically gives me the authority, which you gave me last year, to sign the MOU or the portion, our portion on behalf of the city for the jointly owned natural gas company, so that we can proceed with the loan again on an annual basis. We'll have to redo this annually until that loan is paid off. Now, hopefully what's going to happen, there are 2 phases to Kumho. Phase 1 was the first portion of this, but there's a second phase coming. They're planning on going onto a bond package for the second phase. And when they do the bond package, we'll take the loan and pay off the loan and just bundle it together in the bond package. So this is all part of the gas infrastructure, which we have 18% of the profit. We also have 18% of the expenses. We're an 18% owner in this, with the other cities such as Hawkinsville, Byron, Perry, and Warner Robins. So this is really just extending the loan that we already approved previously with the previous council. And all 5 cities are going through the process over the next 2 weeks to basically approve their portion. On the document, as of this year, I am now the chair of the jointly owned. It rotates through different cities. It's our turn to be chair, to serve as chair. So I have a double signature. One is chair of the board, and the second is the mayor of Cochran. Frank.
What cities are you speaking of?
You're talking about the members of jointly owned, and let's see, that includes Hawkinsville, Perry, Warner Robins, Byron was actually bought out by jointly owned, but they're part of the process, and then Cochran. And this was formed way back a long time ago. We used to do all of our own, but we really contracted out with jointly owned because of the safety regulations and the need to have modern up to date elements. So this is one of our franchise, what's the right term? Enterprise funds that we do receive profits from, that we do use to subsidize some of the activities within the city. Any questions? I'm just trying to keep the ball rolling on this thing.
So we need a motion or something?
I need a motion to approve the resolution to sign the contract, sign the documents so we continue on.
I make a motion that, you get the mayor permission to sign the contract on 0-16.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, number 5 here, the seizure account. Richard, do you want to do that one?
Would, yes, so the council, we need the council's authority, and the council has the authority and need approval to set up another bank account for the seizure funds. Chief Coley, it's a new state law and requirement. If you summarize what the need is here.
Yes, we have a new law that governs law enforcement seizure funds, and basically, in a nutshell, that law requires 2 seizure funds. One must be interest-bearing, and all seized funds initially go into that account. And upon a court order, if the funds are awarded to the police department, then the interest on those funds is paid to the state of Georgia. If the funds are
awarded back to the original owner. The interest from those funds is paid back to the original owner. If the police department is awarded the funds by the court, then those funds will go into a second and final fund, where it then becomes the property of the police department to be used for law enforcement purposes. We currently only have the one non-interest bearing account, so we're not in compliance with the law, and so we need your approval to have the second account that will be interest bearing, so that we will be in compliance with the law.
I make a motion that we get an account.
I second.
Yeah, I have a first and a second. Any
I'd
discussion?
like to ask a question.
Yeah, I'd like to hear, I got a couple too, so go for it. Go ahead.
Why does the fund go to the city police department and not the general funds for the city?
State law only allows seized funds to be used for specific law enforcement purposes. It's against the law to use it for any other purpose. That's by state law.
How many
So
city?
that doesn't mean that the city police department has to handle it, though. It means
Yes.
that-
Well, I don't handle it. All funds go through City Hall.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, though, you can handle it. The city would have a certain amount of funds they couldn't spend except for the police department, new cars, radio equipment, that type of stuff.
Yes, sir. It's permitted for those types of uses. Yes.
Richard would have financial oversight over those expenditures. You'd have to approve the expenditures out of that account on behalf of the police department. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
How many signatures are on the account?
I don't sign anything. That's,
So it would be Richard and Joe?
Yeah.
So the police department is not the signatures on the account. That would be the city representatives.
Well, all I was trying to find out was exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just inquiring about proper oversight so that we didn't have a conflict. of
You had a
interest.
question about 2 names on the account?
Typically, we have 2 names on all the accounts. That way, if
What 2 names on the
I think it's Richard.
Richard, usually Jill are the 2, and if we have more than that, it might be Lisa and myself, so that we at least have one entity available to sign checks.
Yeah, that'd be on the bank signature.
Yeah, we designate them.
All checks require 2 signatures.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a first and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Mayor updates. Got one thing to put on there, the city park, that came up last month here. After the meeting, we did post to our website a summary of all the work that has been done up to date on the city park. So if anybody needs additional information, if you'll go to news and updates on the homepage, you click on City Park and we'll give a summary of the first couple of meetings that we've had. Right now, we are in a holding pattern, waiting for the engineering report back, and then that's gonna have to go to Richard. So the next meeting was scheduled for February. That meeting will not be occurring. We don't have enough time to do the analysis. The next meeting will probably be early March before we get around to getting the analysis completed. So, okay. Richard, I'm going to turn it back to you. City manager discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the council has my city manager's report, monthly report. Have a couple items mentioned during the work session. We now have a budget calendar. The city's goal is to adopt a balanced budget as required by law by June 14th. And for the first couple of months, today's January 12th, but during the month of January, February, and March, myself and the department heads are going to be discussing the strategic plan as it now is constituted, the departmental goals and objectives, reviewing our current revenues and expenditures and using that as a basis for planning next year's budget based on the strategic plan and departmental goals and objectives. Around that, we'll look at operations, personnel, and capital. Every department has a 5-year capital improvement plan. That's going to be updated. So the staff will be working diligently between now and the end of March on a proposed budget. And I intend to propose a draft city budget for FY 16-17 at the end of March. And that's when the fun begins. That's when they have a retreat and look at the city's budget, look at the individual councilman's goals and needs and plans, and see how we need to change the budget to fit the consensus of the council. We put in the budget calendar that you have a copy of really 3 or 4 opportunities for the council to discuss the budget. If you'd like to, make a change in the budget calendar, the dates aren't set in stone or anything, but as we move ahead, we do plan to have budget sessions and ultimately to adopt the budget or propose adoption of the budget by the city council on the council meeting in June 14th. So if you want to talk about the budget calendar, please get with me and we can discuss it. We also have a financial statement for the first 6 months of this year. Since July 1, the city has spent $2,797,000. And our revenue stream is a little over $3 million. I gave you a summary, so we are living within our revenues. I do want to mention that our general fund revenues, we've received the bulk of them during the 6 months, the first 6 months of the fiscal year, because that's when the city collects its taxes. We still are going to enjoy some revenues, such as the utility franchise tax and some other revenues, but much of the general fund has already been received. So we need to monitor this closely to make sure that our expenses are held within our revenues. Water and sewer revenues are running ahead of expenses. At the same time, we have to look at the city is taking on debt for improving the water and sewer system. So as we do take on the debt, whether it's GFA or USDA, we need those revenue streams to cover our debt level. So take a look at the summary, take a look at the 6-month report. If you have any questions on line items, let me know. Every department is within the budget, has spent less than 50% of what's been budgeted. We're 50% through the fiscal year, and every department is within the budget, and we hope to stay within the budget. But if you have any questions, let me know as we move ahead.
Can we ask you a question about that now, Richard?
Sure.
Based on your expertise on the revenues that we have in and the expenses you currently have with what they're budgeted out, how do you think we're going to do estimating for the rest of the year?
I think we're going to make it. Yeah, I think we'll stay within our revenue stream right now. I would project that. But we have to watch it. Councilman, we've actually postponed our budgeted capital purchases in many cases, not all cases, until the latter half of the year, just to make sure we have the money to do it. And we also have improved our purchasing policy, purchase orders, and how we purchase items in order to reduce our cost and keep our expenditures within the revenues. But I think we're going to make it, to answer your question.
I think we're beyond, we are going to make it. Richard will make sure of that because.
I realize you make sure we make it when it gets closer, but my question is further, can the department heads look at being able to accomplish what's in their budgets for this year under the revenue stream you currently foresee us having?
Yes, sir.
Does the council vote on once you set the budget up and get with your head of all each department. Then does each item that's on that budget, does it come through city council, they vote on it, or?
We vote on, as we vote on the total budget, not on line item by line item, but as a total.
Total budget.
Right, so where we have discussions would be during the budgeting process, not at the end, but during that process. When he gets done with his analysis by departments, we'll have an opportunity then to interact with Richard and express concerns and let him go back and massage that budget if we have council consensus on an area, maybe something needs to be increased or decreased, and we'd like to see some changes. Richard has to have some flexibility to go back and be able to move those numbers.
But all those budgets come through, is approved by city council.
Correct. We approve the total package. And you have to remember, we lined everything up with the strategic plan. Richard has aligned the budget with the strategic plan. So his directors are aligned with the strategic plan. That's what we set as policy, is the strategic plan. And Richard is charged then with implementing the strategic plan through the budgeting process. So everything is aligned up with what our policies are established through the strategic plan. That's one reason we're going to go back and do a review of the strategic plan. It may not go, if we do a revision of it, it would be available then possibly for some tweaking at the end of this budget cycle, but more likely be fully implemented with the next budget cycle.
Okay, and before the city council approves anything, you're gonna do it when? When are you gonna approve it?
According to Richard's schedule, we will get the budget come the end of March 29th, 30th.
March
Somewhere through
29th.
there. We'll have this part of the retreat is to spend some time on this budget so that Richard can break down the details and give us a better understanding.
And if a department head goes over, running over, then it's still got to come before council before it's voted on.
Well, whenever,
He can't get more funds, in other words, unless the council votes on it. Is that right?
well, there are some line items you'll notice, some particular line items where the department head has gone up. Some expenditures, say for a particular project, will take place early in the year. And so they'll spend their money early in the year. So technically, they're over on the 12-month budget. If there's a good reason for going over, that's fine, as long as their overall budget is within the budget, is within
Well, I
their
can see if
constraints.
it's overall is within the original budget. But what happens if they go over budget and it has to come back before council votes to give them additional funds?
That's not a practice of the council. If there is a contract, Councilman, say, for example, if you approve a contract that's going to force a department's budget to go over, then you'd have to also vote to amend the budget. You'd have to approve that. But myself and the department heads, we're tasked to stay within the budget. If they go over for a particular reason in a line item, there has to be a good reason for it. And I'll let you know every month, or I'll furnish you with the information on what line items are within the budget, or maybe it's gone over.
I'm trying to learn.
Okay, any other questions there?
A couple things, Mayor. We had a pre-construction conference on the $565,000 CDBG project. It's a sewer line improvement project that's going to take place near the hospital and Ann Street. It's going to benefit well over about 150 residents, 57 households, most of which are low to moderate income. In situ form is the contractor. They were awarded a contract of $455,000, which is within the project budget. In addition to that, there's some administrative and engineering fees. But we expect the entire project to come within the $565,000 budget. This is our first big step in improving the sewer system of the city. In the future, this year, We're going to be also looking at additional sewer improvements, wastewater treatment plant improvements. We have 4 water tanks that need to be cleaned and maintained, and also some water line improvements. So we're progressing as each month rolls by. We try to make progress on our infrastructure changes. And finally, let's see, Monday, January 18th, the city's going to participate in the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. I believe it's set at 1 o'clock, Chief. The police department will be represented. We'll have a city car. If any of the councilmen want to be in the parade, you're certainly welcome to. But that's going to be on Monday, January 18th, which is the national holiday, and City Hall will be closed. That's all I have.
I have a few things.
Oh, okay.
Happens. Anybody have anything?
Yeah, they may, but go ahead.
Just a couple of things. As Richard mentioned, we do have the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. That's at 1 p.m. It gathers at 11:30 a.m. at on Frank Cook Road by the college. And also I wanted to mention that and invite everyone. We have the Neighborhood Watch program this Saturday that Councilman Gooch is very involved in, and that's at Martha Ann Baptist Church, 1 p.m. We'll have an informative program for the community there. We'll also be grilling hot dogs and have chips and drink, and you're all certainly welcome to attend that. And the only other thing I have, I've got my monthly reports. I have the December monthly report, and then I recap the 2015 calendar year for the police department. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have any. But I wanted to point out just a couple of things of importance or significance. The one thing that I was very pleased with for 2015, which I think is extremely significant, is that the crime reduction of 38.79% for the city of Cochran for the year 2015. Almost 39% less crime in the city for last year as opposed to the previous year, 2014. That's quite large. That's significant, and we're very proud of that. And we'll keep working throughout 2016 to pull that down just as much as we absolutely can. And just you've got a well-trained police department, and we're working to make it even better trained, but I included as one of your reports our training hours for 2015, and you'll see that we had 2,145 training hours, and that's a lot of training. You can never have too much training in what we do for a living, and very proud that we're able to do that, and I included that in your report also. Another item of interest, in 2015, Sergeant Darrell Miller, our animal control officer, who does an unbelievable job as a one-man show, picked up 403 animals for the year 2015. That's, just think about that. That's one man that picked up 403 animals last year. And just to give you a breakdown, this is in your packet also, but I did not break down the percentages for you in your packet, but the 68% of the animals were picked up in the county, and 32% of the animals were picked up in the city. And of course, you know, we have a contractual agreement with the county. We provide animal control services countywide. So, and I would just kind of close my part out by saying, I mentioned to you last month that our Facebook site is up and running, and we have Nixle, we have Facebook. Those are our two electronic outreach, and our message board in front of the building. Those are our three forms of outreach to the community electronically, and I'm proud to say that we currently have, as of today, we had 318 users signed up on our Nixle notification, and after right at 1 month into our Facebook account, we have 1,110 people that have liked our page, and that's in a month. So that's up about 27%, but I mean, it's really the first month, so, yeah, 27%. So, we're doing our best to reach out to the citizens, keep them informed of the things that we believe, feedback that I get on what they want to hear, what they want to know about, and so we're doing what we can to reach out to the community and keep our residents informed.
Thank you, Chris.
Can we ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Chris, and I noticed on the training hours, there's 17 people. Are you full staff right now?
We are full staff.
How many officers does that include? Would you include everybody?
Including me, that's
Everybody.
16. 3 of those are part-time, so there's actually 13 of us, plus 3 part-time, plus 1 civilian, which is the administrative.
Does that count Daryl in animal control?
That does include Daryl. If you remove Daryl, there's 12. Daryl is a certified officer, however, he does not perform traditional police duties, so if you remove him, then there's 12.
When I was looking at your, and as you have a great report here, I was looking at your animal control report and in some of the stuff that Richard and we were discussing. It looks to me like it's significantly higher number out in the county, almost I'm ballparking, maybe 75, 25, maybe 60.
68-32.
68-32, which is very significant, in that we split that 50-50 with the county, if I'm not wrong on that.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, that's true.
Under discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yes.
Daryl did a great job too. How many cars are you using, Chris, right now, patrol cars?
Patrol cars, I have 8.
Do you have cameras in all of them?
Yes, we do.
How are those working properly for you? What about body cameras?
We do not have body cameras.
There's such a public outcry for that right now. Have you looked into them? I know they're very expensive. It's not easy to do.
I've not really looked into it because I don't have that budgeted for this year. So
Is that something you're looking at?
it's something I would be interested in doing in the coming year. It's quite pricey.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got 2 issues there. You've got the cost of the equipment, and then you have data storage issues that you also have to address because there is an enormous amount of data that is recorded on those devices.
Do your tasers have the cameras on them now?
No.
No. Thank you. These were good reports too, very good.
Mayor and council, we have a report from our fire chief, Kevin Knowles.
A couple of things. His crime went down and my calls went up. So let's start off with, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we put in some AFG grants, which is the Assistance to Firefighter Grants through FEMA. We basically broke it down into 3 there, PPE and SCBAs. We have about 6 that are compliant for about 2 more years in the compliance. The rest of them are older. They're like 92 compliant, 1992 compliant. And so we're going to try to get that replaced. And that's a combination of the city and the county. Okay? So that's one thing. And then, of course, PPE. PPE is good compliance for 10 years. Once again, it's a combination of the city and the county. Training is the other thing we went after. So a total of 3 of those to try to get most of our firefighters up to the standard of NFPA 1001 compliance. And the last grant that we put in for was through EMC, Oklahoma EMC. I say it's a grant, but it's Operation Roundup, if you're familiar with that. We haven't got a call yet. We're supposed to meet, so if you know somebody there, give us a good pool there. But that's primarily we're targeting our training area. Big ISO requirement to have it, you have to have a drill field. You have to physically go there, so we have to do props there. The burn building and a tower, so we went after the tower to help get funded. I mean, they have telephone tower poles, so maybe they would help us out with that. Right now, we kind of piecemealing some money together. I think we have $275 in a little account. So we're a little bit at a time, we'll get there. So, that's pretty much all I got on.
What do you have on the ISO rating? Have you gotten that report yet?
I thought I was. I got a letter in, but it was a survey for them to grade how well they were. So hopefully this week or next, I'm guessing.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Are you full staff then?
Yes, sir, up to our standard. Yes, sir,
How many-
two on the shift.
How many is that total?
8 total, count myself.
That's counting
Will you be to my meeting on Sunday?
I will be. I want to work with them. I've got a program coming. Anybody else? I got a program with working through the Red Cross to try to do in March, but I need names, addresses to get smoke detectors in their residence. My goal is to get everybody in Cochran a smoke detector. So Red Cross is going to help us. We're going to have to pick a day, and then we're going to hit a neighborhood, but I got to have addresses.
Okay.
So, and there's some requirements, but we can talk later on. Any other questions? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, my last item is that the city staff, working with Lisa and Jill and Connie and Tracy, the whole city staff, we are transitioning to new software. That's utility, payroll, general ledger, business licenses. So it's been an exciting adventure. That's one description of it, but we're getting there. We're under contract with Edmonds. They come very well recommended from other cities of similar size to Cochran, and we'll be implementing it over the coming months. So that project is on track. So just wanted to give you an update. And Jacob, do you have anything? Anybody has any questions for Jacob based on his report?
Got some road paving project going down in January, 1st February. Can't give you the hard date, but I can give you a good figure to go on. Either the end of January to the end of February, Dike Street resurfacing project will begin. It's going to go west to east, ceiling to ceiling. They had got the contract. They're waiting to get the contract back from Atlanta because this is a GDOT project, so they can go ahead and execute the start the resurfacing project.
Who's doing that?
Everybody's. Also, when they are resurfacing Dike Street, we're going to go ahead and resurface our mid 16 roads, which will be 9th Street Terrace from Peter to Ann and Pine Street. That's about all we got going right now. If y'all have any roads in your districts you'd like some paved, please let Mr. Richard know so I can combine them with my road plan that I use for the grants we get. Yes, sir.
About Pine Street.
Pine Street will be paved. Yeah, Pine Street will also be paved, that's right. So if y'all got any roads y'all want me to add to it, to the plan, I can add to it. We get about, y'all know what the mid-grant is, it's a local maintenance improvement grant. We get about $57,000 a year from GDOT to pay with. We put $5,000 toward it and match it. So we get $63,000 a year, that's about 2,300 linear feet of road. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit. So if any roads y'all think it's pay, sir.
Better than none.
Better than none, that's right. December was a very rainy month for us in Public Works. We had 16.1 inches of rainfall for the month. 3.9 fell the year leave. You hear Richard talking about the GFA loans, USDA loans, 5 million sewer improvements. Just to give you an idea of why we need this to happen, out of the 4 elevated tanks for the month of December, the city of Cochran consumed 17 million gallons of water. Well, for the month of December, during the rain event, the wastewater treatment plant received 39 million gallons of water. That plant ran non-stop for almost 3 weeks. So that's one of the many reasons that we're doing the GFA and these big long packages to get this infrastructure improved. Because you can't see it with your eyes what's going on under the ground, but it is a nightmare for us to have to deal with this stuff. And we are moving forward, like Richard said, they're gonna begin the CDBG project at the hospital, which is a area that's in much need of repair. It's got clay, we've seen fractures as long as 24 inches down those spots.
Is most of that infiltration on that for December that you're talking about going through the plant?
Yes.
Is that what you're having? So
That costs a lot of money to clean good wood. Costs a lot of money to do that.
How about Beaver Dam?
Beaver dams, we've been busting beaver dams for months now. Non-stop busting, non-stop. We're trying to relocate them as best as possible. They're not building them as high as they was, like back there in Wind Bottom office. We got that little land donated from the bank. We're able to go back there and bust some out back there. We got a little family out there on Porter Road. We're trying to get moved, get them out of the way. But other than that, the beavers aren't as much of a problem as they was in years past. They're always going to be around. It's hard to get rid of them things. But that's about it.
Jake, are you full staff right now?
Yes.
How many do you have?
We got 18 people right now. That's about one person for every 500 people in the city. You got one employee that works public works. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Richard? Any council discussion items? Okay, do you have any public comments?
I only had one, and that's Miss Denmark came back in, she was the one that signed up.
Okay. Do we have any comments, public comments? Okay. Upcoming meetings here, our next, we have, I found a typo. That's today. February, when's our next meeting? February what?
The 9th.
February 9th. Our next regularly scheduled work session will be on 6 o'clock on February 9th, and the regular meeting will start at 7 on February 9th. If you could please make that adjustment to the agenda. Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm going to take a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive.
I have a first, a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
You don't have to say that.
We're in executive session.